So popping that gorgeous paper into my stamping platform. Now, because I've trimmed this down so that it just fits the stamp, I'm then not able to use my magnets on it. So what I'm doing instead is I'm going to place the paper there just along the line here and along the edge. So if I need to reposition at any time, I can do that. So pop this so it's kind of central. You can always stamp and trim it down later if you prefer. So pick that stamp up. Now what I do need to do as well, this is another CraftStash product, it's an anti-static bag. If you're new to stamping, this is an absolute essential for you to grab. They're only a couple of quid. They're really inexpensive, but they last such a long time. I don't think I've ever had to replace one of these. I think I've been given ones by companies and that's the only reason I've changed them, but I've never kind of run out of one. And I do use it a lot. So anti-static bag all over the paper. That's just because I have very greasy hands. I'm always putting hand cream on, not that you can tell because they're so dry, but it just means that any marks, any greasy marks or anything that are on there, that's not going to be affected when I start using my embossing powder. Now, what I did throw earlier was my embossing powder and embossing ink. That's what one of the crashes were today. So this is the Wow embossing pads. You can use this one, you can use a Versamark, whichever is your preferred embossing ink. Doesn't have to be clear either. If you prefer to use a coloured one so you can see where you're stamping, that's absolutely fine too, because you can go in with the gold or a coloured embossing powder over the top and you won't really see that colour afterwards. I just go with clear because it's habit. So now, as I press this down, and I said earlier about using little taps rather than going in really hard and trying to get everything done in one sort of impression, lots of little taps. My paper's staying in place. There we go. I think I've got all of that. Now, because that's come over, I can just give that a rub as well. Just help make sure I've covered everywhere and peel that off. Now I can see lots of lovely juicy ink on there. Now I can put this away as it is. My stamp is not touching the base plate of the platform. It's lifted off. It's not until you press like that that it touches the back. So if you have got an inky stamp that you're trying to keep from you haven't got time to clean up and put away, but you want to put aside, you can keep it in the platform. That's what I'm trying to say. So now I just need a scrap of paper, either a scrap of paper or like this, a card base. This is the perfect thing for gathering your embossing powder in. Now I went a little bit eager with my embossing powder there, and you can see I've got some on my mat. I'm going to have glitter around for days, I'd imagine. I'll be finding it in all sorts of places. Very often the dog has glitter on him as well. So let's just brush that away. I'll get the vacuum back out. I'm going to anyway for all those little bits of paper. There we go. Okay, so you can just see that needs to be heat set now. So this is a slightly slower heat gun. So look at that. Isn't that absolutely beautiful? So pretty. It's luxurious. It's like a luxurious wallpaper, that gold with the blue. You've got the variation of the blues in there, and actually when you look at that in the way I'm looking at it, I can see through the gold leaves. In the background you've got those silhouettes and shadows of the golds as well, so there's all sorts there. So